So on the 26th of November 2019, we opened up our first store, although a retail store, but because sometimes you start something big from where you are, we had a global vision, but we started from more like a veterinary clinic with a retail store in Eleko in Lagos.
We had some funds. We had about, give or take, 2 million naira to start the business. We rented a store for 500,000. We did some demarcations, the lab, the pharmacy, and then the administration with like 500,000, and then we did some other jobs, and we were left with just 300,000 naira to buy stock for the business, and then that's how we started.
I remember vividly the joy on our face the day we opened up to customers to come in. And I think we ran that place for almost a few months. We got some immediate traction, and by 2021 we were set to start expanding. Because what drove the first opening in Eleko then was that communities exist without animal health care centers that are operated in an excellent fashion. If we can create this one and we run it successfully, then we can go to other communities.
My name is Precious Anazie, and I worked with FarmAlert in 2019. I worked as a customer care representative, and I also managed stocks and made sure that the accounts balanced. My time at FarmAlert was great. The customers were amazing. We grew when I started at FarmAlert, it was just the one store at Soralum filling station in Eleko, and by the time I left, in the space of 18 months, we had a new branch at Ekpe. And one thing that stood out for me that was very significant in my stay at FarmAlert was that Dr. Kaede was always casting a vision, always holding trainings, and just letting us know where the store was going to, having our buy-ins and all that, and that was very significant. And since I've left FarmAlert, those are some of the things that I've taken with me that have helped me in my current career path. I've used vision casting over and over again. I have a growth plot for my life, and for the places that I work to. I set my goals and I aim to achieve them because of these experiences. It was such an awesome time, great colleagues, great work environment, and yeah, overall, it was good. Bye.
Last week I was looking at my jotters, and I saw that I wrote then when we started that first store that then we're combining VetPro and FarmAlert, that VetPro will be about the largest retail chain of veterinary stores across the country. And I was surprised that I wrote 500. So we're going to have 500 retail centers as chains of veterinary clinic across the country. But again, that was the force that drove us to open the second center, which was in Epe, still in Lagos. Then we opened Elerenwe, so that's about our third retail center. Then we opened in Ijebu-Ode. And I think in one of those locations also we had about 5 retail centers. So it was, I think, when we got to Ijebu-Ode, I realized what it will take, right? Having a lot of people, the capital nature of having retail centers. But I think what broke me down was that my leadership wasn't strong enough then to manage those 5 centers. I was constantly breaking down, getting home late. My wife was very worried around my health and a few things around me then.
One thing about Dr. Femi Kayode is the fact that he's a go-getter. He's somebody I call an idea kind of human being, an idea person, an idealistic person. He's somebody that he can sleep and wake up with an idea, and the next thing on his mind is execution. Not minding if he's going to choke him up, or if he's going to, bring him stress or bring him down. And that's one thing I admire about him, because he's someone who doesn't take no for an excuse. And then, when the business started and, we had to do everything ourselves, it took a toll on him and his health, and I was really worried. I had to tell him to take a break. I had to ask him and beg him to take a break, which he declined. And this is just for a singular reason. He did not want to fail again. He did not want to disappoint the community again. So he put himself out there, irrespective of however he was feeling or however his health was.
So I asked myself, and I'm always accustomed to the fact that I sit down and, up till now I do it. I asked myself, is this thing working? So I said, if we own 5 retail centers and I'm this stressed, what will happen? If 5 becomes 500, it means I will melt, right? And you will not find me anywhere among those retail centers. Because the funny thing, I was waking up, although I wanted to transform animal health, but I was waking up with quite a lot of worries those days. But something transformational happened when we got into one community. We met somebody, and that was in Ijebu. We met somebody in Ijebu that was already serving that community. The moment he heard that we were coming into that community, he got worried, and then we had a lot of agitation. So I wasn't just thinking about how do I grow this business. I was also thinking about how do I outcompete someone. So, but I was already an Ashoka fellow, and Ashoka taught us a lot around collaborations. So I asked myself, instead of competing with this person, how can I help him instead? And that was when the idea around owning distribution centers was born. So why don't we, first of all, I was stressed. Secondly, there was competition. Why don't we have centers that support these people who support the community? Right? It just simply makes sense. That was a whole lot of an aha moment for me. I just realized, don't compete, collaborate. So, but again, how do we now start this whole thing? How do we get to distribute? Having a veterinary store was capital intensive. Having a distribution center was a lot more capital intensive. And it's at this moment I really want to thank BI, Boehringer Ingelheim. Boehringer Ingelheim has been our biggest support. I really can't imagine what we would have done or where we would have been without the support of BI. They gave us a grant funding, 50,000 euros. That was quite a lot of money, right? We picked up that 50,000 euros. We experimented a little bit during our pilot phase. They thought it was successful, and they gave us a whopping 150,000 euros again. So it was quite easy to start the first distribution center because of the fundings we got, and we experimented. Abuja turned out to be immediately very successful, but unfortunately, again, we got more demands of what we were doing. The margins were small, we got more demand, so we were breaking down. And that began a very stressful 6 to 8 months journey for us. People calling us, getting disappointed. We could not replenish our stocks. We were almost breaking down, and it was pretty very tough.
First of all, I want to do a shout out to BI. I want to say thank you for all their support, because the brand, the global brand you are seeing today is courtesy of Ashoka and BI. And this is because they bought into the idea, and then they saw the hard work we had put in, and then they supported us full time. But before the support came, it was a roller coaster of struggle, emotions, and thoughts. Because Dr. Femi Kayode is somebody that doesn't like to fail. I'll say it again. So for the time being, when we were expecting, what we were expecting, I saw him, like, it shook him to the marrows. It shook him a lot. It shook him. the pressure was high. And then, people started talking again. But, when you have, the faith is evidence of things hoped for and substance of things not seen. We were faithful that, these people, our sponsors, were going to turn up for us, and then we are glad that they have supported us this far.
Again, we said we're going to open more distribution centers, just like the way it happened with the retail centers. We were breaking down, now we're breaking down also. One of those days I said, okay, so let's close the retail centers, let's concentrate all our efforts on the distribution center, and so we did. But even at that, we could not cope with the demands that were coming. Our overheads were high, and it was really a very stressful period for us. Then BI came in again, and that's why our story in FarmAlert, our journey won't be complete without the help of BI. So we got the big funding, and now we think we can cover the entire Nigeria. We have around 6 distribution centers now. We have in Abuja, we have in Lagos, we are ramping up Ibadan to be a mega center. We have in Kano, we have a distribution center in Kano, we have in Taraba, and to mark our 5th year celebration, we're launching open on the 3rd, our Port Harcourt center. I believe that by the time you will be watching this video, we should must have started distributing animal health solutions in Port Harcourt.
And I remember Dr. Kayode Femi. He came to Kaduna, and that was the last place I was working with, Vetco Diagnostics in Kaduna. So he came to learn some of the, the laboratory techniques, because he had plans to open up an animal laboratory outlet in Lagos. So he came just to understudy what we do and how we carry out our procedures. And it was a welcoming, I think that was the first time I met him, other than the fact that I knew that he was the youngest sitting member of the Veterinary Council of Nigeria. And it was really a pleasure to, finally put a face to the name. And then after that, my boss then, Dr. Usman, reached out to me to say, Dr. Kayode is going to call you. Dr. Kayode was doing one program on YouTube, I can't remember the name, Masterclass. So Dr. Usman asked me to come on board as the guest veterinarian to talk about laboratory procedures. I was nervous as hell. It was like, God, how can I be on camera? I'm going to be on YouTube with millions of people watching. But Dr. Kayode, Doctor, you'll be fine. Likita, don't worry, you'll be fine. Just get prepared, make sure that your scripts are ready. You're even going to, and then I think what got me was he said you're going to show us a live practical session of maybe sample collection or something. I was like, God, how do I even, how do I compose myself to do this? But yes, I did. And that was my first time on camera speaking to the veterinary community. And I confidently was able to collect the samples and also display some of the laboratory technique procedures. Anyways, fast forward to when I started working with FarmAlert. We got talking and I told him that I've resigned from my previous space, and he was like, oh, okay, so what's your plan? I said, I don't really have any, I just want to rest for now and then re-strategize and then come out. He said, I have a job for you. I said, okay. We scheduled a meeting, I think 3 or 4 days after that conversation, and he told me this was what he wanted me to do, community engagement manager for FarmAlert. I'm like, God, what is even, that's the first time I heard of that portfolio, community engagement manager. I was like, what am I going to do? What was my job description? I was just anxious and restless. I remember my husband saying to her, wait and see your employment letter, and then I'm sure your job description will clearly be stated. And then that was how I started. It was a journey it was an undulating journey, up and down. At the beginning, I remember how fast my heart would race when it's time for end of month review meetings. Oh my God, I remember the first month, I'm sure they were patting me on the back. They're like, baby girl, go to sleep, you'll be fine. And then the second month, and then the third month. I received the gbas of my life. And then I was like, God, I panicked. I think I was even angry. I think I even wrote a resignation letter. I did. Showed my husband to help me vet that I'm resigning. I'm not going to do it. Shame me, I'm trying my best. Can't he see that I'm trying? My husband said, you are trying. But if this is what he wants you to do and you're not doing it, then you're not trying in this. So why don't you align everything you're doing with what he wants you to do? Be result-oriented. This is the result. I remember then Dr. Kaide would say, numbers. The numbers are not adding up. And I'll be like, even if numbers are not adding up, can't you see that I'm working? But then I'll ask myself again, if you don't have data to show, how many people will you tell on the street that I'm doing it, I'm doing it? It has really been a nice journey for me, honestly, like a journey of growth, literally. I met amazing people who treat each other as family. Though I work remotely, I'm that one staff that works remotely, but I feel connected to every other physical employee in FarmAlert. FarmAlert has been an integral part of my growth. It has given me this confidence, and these days, like I speak, and I don't even care who is listening, right? That stage fright is gone. That audience fear is gone, and you just are vocal and you can express yourself, you can communicate clearly, either verbally or orally. So for me, my journey in FarmAlert has been an amazing one.
I started FarmAlert as the only associate, we call ourselves associate here in Abuja, the only person. So I was working remotely until we finally moved to Abuja. So FarmAlert is a place where you learn, you work, and you learn. So I've been able to learn a lot, to be a leader, to grow, and to be focused. The experience so far has added a lot of impact in my life. I could see visible changes in the way I think, the way I talk, in the way I solve problems, and the way I handle tasks.
Started as an accountant, and I struggled a little because I've never really worked as an accountant in a firm that is profit making. So where I worked last, it's a non-for-profit making organization. So when I came, it was a bit of struggle for me. I had to put accounts together. I remember my first task was to prepare financial statement for 2021 and 2022. Doctor gave me 1 week. I could not sleep. I worked overnight. It was really stressful, but it stretched me. And I had to research on a whole lot of things that I had no idea. You know, what you learned in school is not really what you do in real life, right? So I had to struggle with a lot, but my reports kept improving. I kept working on it. I had to put together a Google Sheet for a monthly report, just to bridge a lot of gaps, to work on risk, and you know, it's just a whole lot.
FarmAlert has really been it has really have a great, huge impact in my life, because I can't say, apart from just working here in FarmAlert and then giving them my own input, I think I've had a lot of input more from them, because so many things I'm learning today, so many things I'm gaining today are even more than what I'm being paid for, because especially our CEO, he's intentional about our growth, you understand, in terms of our experience, in terms of what we want to do, in terms of our exposure. Is very intentional, and this is something that I would really love, or this is something that I love, you know, working here also in FarmAlert. And to be frank with you, I don't think I've opened my CV in a while thinking of modifying it, or thinking of looking for another place to pitch my tent or look for a job, you understand. But FarmAlert has given me that rest of mind that yes, this is a breeding ground for me to build on my experience. And I want to really appreciate everyone, the associates and everybody that has also been instrumental in my growth so far. And I thank you all. Thank you.
FarmAlert has helped me to grow in terms of my leadership skills. I've been able to challenge myself to read books, to understand people better, to get closer to people in order to feel what they feel, to be able to relate with them better and also to lead better.
Oh yes, FarmAlert has really done a lot for me. I thank God before now I never even knew I would be in Abuja. Not to even talk of bringing my family. But I came to Abuja, the space of 3 months, I brought my family, and I think I'm living happily with my family today. It has really done a lot for me. And I will continue to be grateful for FarmAlert. I've decided to even drop my CV. I'm no more looking for anywhere. This is my last bus stop, my last destination. I am okay where I am. And I believe FarmAlert will grow more than this again. That one day all this will come an history for us. And we'll live to enjoy this.
FarmAlert has impacted my life. In some ways, I've learned that I have to grow. I don't have to stay where I am always. Every day I have to see new things that will push me ahead.
I get the owner of FarmAlert, that FarmAlert helped me because where I did before God saved, the change now they collect for that my former fucking place. But as I come enter FarmAlert, and again I bless. FarmAlert bless me over blessing. Thank you, sir. I well done. I went try. Thank you, sir.
It has been a journey filled with a lot of learning, growth, and how do I put it now? Love, yeah, because I mean, I've met very great people. So with what I'm doing now, right, I wouldn't have actually believed I could be someone who would want to focus on customer satisfaction or marketing or even the vet business generally, because while in school I was actually that kind of person. If I enjoy surgery a lot, I did enjoy surgery a lot, and I really thought after school that was what I was going to venture into. But I mean, look at me. What I'm doing now, I really enjoy doing it. I love to talk to people. I love to see that I'm talking to you and then all of a sudden you're picking a product because we had a conversation about this product, and then you feel that it's something you can actually take home or take to your pet store and then you sell it to your own clients. So it's been an amazing journey of growth, and I am happy to be in FarmAlert.
I think FarmAlert is very comfortable now. Nothing is stressing us. Maybe by the time we start going to other African countries, we could be a little bit stressed, but we have enormous responsibility on our shoulders to ensure that all agrovet stores, all veterinary clinics across the country at least can depend on us or the infrastructure that we've built to have all their animal health solutions needs met, both vaccines, both drugs, both feed, both accessories, equipment. We're on it. The journey has just started for us, and of course we're going to take it to where it needs to be until we become a pan-African company that is providing Africa's largest infrastructure to supply animal health solutions across the continent. And I'm not sure if I want to end this talk without talking about the amazing associates that we have. So one day I sat down and I asked myself, so what do people think about me? Am I stressful? Am I mean? Am I, sometimes you fall into some identity crisis where you bother about what people think. And but I think what drove me into asking myself those questions was we can literally go far with the right set of people around us. And we would not be able to have the right set of people around us until I be the right kind of leader that the business deserves. So I was a lot more introspective around what impacts are we having? Do we have the right set of people? Are we growing? So it's safe to conclude that we are where we are because of the quality of people we have, their dedication, their commitment. Where I said in one of the meetings, we're a young group of people that is self-governed, right? The average age of people working in FarmAlert is 25. To have that level of average age and have us supply or be the backbone of over 1,000 agro-stores, soon to be 6,000. One of the top grants in animal healthcare in Nigeria, and I presume within another 1-2 years in Africa. And to have this young set of people, self-governed, disciplined, committed, what else do you want to ask God for? So today I want to say thank you to all who committed to the journey.
The best part of you is you don't have to try, and you are magnificent the way that you are. If I had to choose, I'd choose you all again. The best part of this is that you're all mine. The best part of this is that you're all mine. The best part of